what you cling to is what hurts you, not because it was meant to hurt you, but because you refuse to let it pass. The thought, the fear, the story, the person you wrapped your hands around, smoke, and called it security. And now the tighter you hold, the more it burns. This is the first illusion, that peace is found by control, that happiness is a destination, that you are the one who must strive to earn it. But look again. Where is the one who suffers? Where is the one who must achieve? Thought arises, feeling arises. But you are only the awareness. The sky is never troubled by the passing clouds, and you are not troubled truly unless you believe the clouds are you. Breathe. Let the breath remind you. Nothing stays. Inhale. Impermanence. Exhale. Attachment. You are not the breath. You are the space it moves through. The body ages. The thoughts come and go. The world spins. Empires rise and fall. But awareness remains. Silent, unshaken, present. The pain you fear is not the enemy. Your resistance to it is, your judgment of it, your belief that you should not feel what is already here. Drop the story, drop the why, and suddenly it softens. The suffering was never in the pain. It was in the refusal to feel it. It was in the grasping, the pushing, the craving that things be different than they are. And yet, this moment as it is complete. No fixing needed. No better version of you waiting in the future. Only this. Only now. Stillness is not something you find. It is what remains when you stop searching. Do you see you've been chasing peace with noise, trying to silence the mind by shouting over it, trying to find peace while running from yourself? But what if you stopped? What if you did nothing for once? Not out of laziness, but out of sacred reverence. To pause, to sit, to breathe, to feel everything, and need nothing to change. This is not surrender as defeat. It is surrender as awakening, because it is here in the stillness that the truth appears. You were never broken, only distracted, only lost in thought, only mistaking the waves for the ocean. Let the wave rise, let it fall. You are not the wave. You are the water beneath it. Listen. Beneath the mind's chatter, can you hear it? The silence, the presence that doesn't speak yet, says everything. The ego wants to fix. The soul wants to feel. The ego wants to control. The soul only wants to return to what was never lost. And what is that? This breath, this feeling, this moment, this silent knowing that all is already well. The mind is a mirror. It reflects everything it touches, but it does not own what it sees. The thought is not you. The fear is not you. The craving is not you. They are weather patterns. You are the sky. Let go of ownership. Let go of identity. Let go of the need to be the thinker, the doer, the fixer. And what remains? Peace. Not the peace that comes from a solved life, but the peace that comes from no longer needing to solve it. Are you listening? Or are you still trying to understand? Because silence cannot be understood. It must be felt, like moonlight on still water, like wind over ancient stone. Be that stone, be that lake. Let the world pass through you. Let everything fall away until there is only stillness, and even that dissolves. And now, as you sit in this silence, notice how the world begins to soften. The edges blur, the urgency fades, the need to become someone evaporates like morning mist under the sun. There is nothing to become, only something to see clearly, finally, that everything you were looking for is already here. But the mind will argue. It will say, you must do more, you must have more, you must be more. It whispers that contentment is laziness, that stillness is a waste of time. Yet look closely. The mind is just a ripple on the surface. It never reaches the depths. If you fall beneath the surface, if you allow yourself to sink, not drown, but surrender, you will find that the bottom is still. No motion, no fear, only quiet. This is not death. This is not disappearance. It is a return to what has always held you. Have you noticed? Everything changes except the one who sees the change. You have never not been here. Thought comes. Thought goes. Emotion rises. Emotion fades. But the one who watches remains untouched. The same awareness that saw your first breath is watching this moment now. And it is the same awareness that will watch your last. There is great peace in that, because the one who suffers is not real. It is a story, a bundle of memories, fears, and projections that you mistake for a self. Strip away the story and what remains? Not emptiness, not nothingness, but freedom. Freedom from the weight of your own name. Freedom from the pressure to always improve. Freedom from the illusion that joy must be earned. The lotus blooms not by striving, but by simply rising through the mud. Still, patient, certain. Let yourself be like the lotus. Let the mud of life remain. Do not fight it. Do not curse it. Rise anyway, not because you must prove something, but because it is your nature to bloom. The seed does not know the shape of the flower. It trusts. It waits. And in stillness, it unfolds. So must you. The rush to awaken is what delays awakening. You do not become free by force. You remember that you were never bound. So, breathe. Not to calm the mind, but to feel the truth that is already here. Feel the air enter your lungs, not as a task, not as a practice, but as a miracle. This breath is not yours. It is not owned. It is given. And when it leaves, it takes nothing from you, because you were never the one breathing. You were the one aware of the breath. This is the path, not paved with effort or achievement, but with surrender. True mindfulness is not attention. It is intimacy, a willingness to be with what is without needing to fix it, to sit beside your pain like a friend, to greet your fear like an old companion, to bow to your joy without clinging to it. Every moment a visitor, every experience a passing wind. Do not build a house for the wind. Let it pass. Let it sing through you. Let it leave. Because you are not the wind. You are not the song. You are the space it moves through. And that space is still unbreakable, whole. Now feel your body. Feel where it tightens the jaw, the chest, the belly. Notice the tension not as a problem, but as a message. Each knot is a place where you forgot to let go. Each ache is a reminder that you've been holding too long. So soften, not because it will make the pain go away, but because the pain is asking to be welcomed. Even sorrow bows in the presence of stillness. Nothing needs to be healed, only held. And when you hold it, truly, gently, silently, it begins to dissolve. Not because you made it disappear, but because it no longer needed to cry for your attention. This is the secret. Nothing screams louder than what is ignored. So listen, not with the mind, with the body, with the breath, with the quiet between thoughts. You are not here to fix the world. You are here to remember the stillness beneath it. You are not here to silence the mind. You are here to become the silence that hears it. You are not here to chase the light. You are here to realize that the light has always been within you, unmoved, untouched, unafraid. And now, let that be enough. And now, if you are very quiet, you might begin to notice the space between the thoughts, that subtle pause, that breath of silence before the next word forms. That is where truth lives, not in the words, not in the teachings, but in the space they point toward. Truth cannot be captured. It cannot be owned or memorized. It can only be remembered like the sound of a forgotten song rising from deep within your chest. There is no one coming to save you, because there is no one to be saved. Only the illusion of a self who believes it is lost. Let go of that illusion, and what remains is freedom so quiet it does not even need to be called peace. Look at the trees. They do not ask if they are enough. They do not wonder if their shape is beautiful or if their roots are deep enough. They simply stand, patient, still breathing the wind, accepting the rain. Can you be like the tree? Can you let yourself exist without question? You were not born to chase worth. You were born to remember it. But the mind is a master of distraction. It whispers, you are not there yet. Try harder. Do more. And so, like a river pulled from its banks, you are drawn away from presence into effort, into striving, into becoming. But what if there is nothing to become? What if awakening is not something you reach, but something you allow, not through action, but through surrender? There is nothing wrong with you, only layers that were never truly you. Fear, shame, pride, identity. These are costumes borrowed from time, but underneath the history and habits and names, you are already whole. Like the moon behind the clouds, unchanged, whether seen or not. Your stillness has never left you. It was only hidden, so do not chase it. Sit quietly and let it reveal itself. Let the noise fall away. Let the past fall away. Let the future fall away, until all that's left is now. And in the now there is no suffering. Suffering exists only in memory, only in imagination. The pain itself is not the problem. It is the mind's story about the pain that burns you. You were never harmed by the feeling, only by your resistance to it. But feelings are not enemies. They are visitors. Open the door, let them in, offer them tea, and when they are ready, they will leave. Not because you chased them out, but because they were finally seen. Awareness is the healer, not effort, not control. When you watch a storm without judgment, the sky becomes your friend again. So, let the storm rage. Let the anger arise. Let the sorrow unfold. Let the confusion breathe. You do not need to fix the weather. You only need to remember you are not the storm. You are the silent field it moves through. You are not your anger. You are not your grief. You are not your mistakes. You are the one who sees them all and remains unmoved. This seeing is freedom. This seeing is peace. The Buddha did not teach escape. He taught presence. He taught truth. He taught that all things arise and pass, and that you are not any of them. So why cling to the thought, to the plan, to the image of who you think you should be? It is like gripping fire, hoping it will keep you warm, but it only burns you. Release it, not with force, but with clarity. When you see that you are not, the thought letting go becomes natural, effortless, just like exhaling. And so breathe again. Let the breath return you. Let it remind you of the one place you always belong, this moment. Because this moment is the only thing that has never left you, and it never will. All else fades. All else turns to dust. But now is eternal. And when you rest in now, truly rest, you no longer need anything more. You do not need to be understood. You do not need to be admired. You do not need to be healed. You only need to be, to sit, to breathe, to see. No future, no past, no self. Only this awareness, this space, this breath, this silence. And in that, you are free. Feel the weight lift as you no longer chase the image. Feel the stillness return as the mind no longer resists. There is no rush here, no demand, no spiritual finish line to reach. The truth of the Dharma is not in distant scriptures. It is in the breath you're taking now. It is in the sound of silence between these words. It is in the space where the mind pauses and you finally arrive. Not in the future, not in a perfect version of yourself, but here, unedited, unimproved, unburdened. And that too is enough. The illusion of self is not something you must destroy. It is something you see through, like seeing the actor behind the mask. You do not hate the mask. You simply stop believing it's the face. The self is a performance, a beautifully rehearsed story, told so often you forgot it was a story at all. But stories only have power when they're believed. The moment you stop believing, the suffering dissolves. Not because the pain leaves, but because the one who clung to it disappears. Look at your hands. How long have you carried things that were never yours? Old judgments, unfulfilled roles, broken promises, stories of not enough, of too much, of never worthy. Put them down now. You do not need them. You never did. The only thing you ever needed was to see clearly. This is vipassana, not a technique, but a return to seeing. Not changing anything, only witnessing. Not solving, only softening. And through that, seeing transformation happens on its own. Like ice melting in the sun. Like a wound healing without your hand forcing it. Awareness is the sun. And when you rest in it, everything false begins to fade. What remains is what is true. And truth is simple. So simple the mind misses it. But the heart knows. The heart does not seek to understand. It seeks to feel. And when it feels fully, without defense, without clinging, without control, it opens like a flower after the long winter. Let your heart open, not with effort, not with will, but with surrender. The walls you built to protect yourself became the prison you couldn't leave. Now the key is in your hand. It always has been. Open the door. Step out into the vastness of this moment. The sun is here. The wind is gentle. And you are no longer carrying yesterday. This is the letting go the Buddha spoke of. Not abandonment, not denial, but a release of that which was never truly yours. Letting go is not loss. It is clarity. It is the recognition that what you were holding was only ever smoke. You cannot lose what was never real, but what is real cannot be lost. Your awareness, your presence, your capacity to witness, your silence. These are not things you find. These are what remain when everything else falls away. And they are enough. You have searched for so long, through achievement, through people, through purpose. But what if the search itself was the veil? What if stopping is the true arrival? No more climbing, no more grasping, just presence, just breath, just being. The stream returns to the ocean, not by effort, but by letting the current carry it home. And you are that stream. There is nowhere you need to go. No higher version of you to become. Just this. Just now. The birds do not meditate. The stars do not seek enlightenment. The mountains do not strive for inner peace. And yet, they are at peace because they are what they are. Fully, completely, silently. Can you allow yourself the same to be as you are, without explanation, without defense? When you stop trying to fix the self, you realize there is no self to fix. Only patterns, only habits, only echoes. Let them pass, and in their absence, feel what remains. This stillness, this open, quiet, eternal space, it has no name. It has no face. But it is the most intimate truth you've ever known. It is you, not the self you defend, but the awareness that needs no defense. Now rest in that. Let the breath come. Let it go. Nothing else is needed. The silence is speaking. Do you hear it? It speaks not in language, but in presence. Not in commands, but in invitation. It says, be still, be here, be no one, and in being no one you become everything. The fear of being nothing is the final veil. But only the ego fears non-existence. The awareness rejoices, because only when the illusion of self falls away does the vastness reveal itself. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the ocean disguised as a drop. You are not the wave that rises and crashes. You are the infinite stillness beneath all movement. You are not your story. You are the silence before the story begins, and the silence that remains when it ends. The mind cannot accept this. It wants something to hold, something to fix, something to do. But awareness does not do. It sees, and in seeing it, liberates. This is the gentle revolution, the one that does not shout, the one that does not conquer, the one that unfolds like petals, opening without force. It is not loud. It does not seek approval. It does not need to be seen, because truth does not advertise itself. It simply is, like the breeze through bamboo, like the mountain unmoved by wind. So too you must become unmoved, not rigid, not cold, but deeply rooted in the present, soft and unshaken. Feel the breath again, not as something separate from you, but as the rhythm of your being. Each inhale a receiving, each exhale a release. No trying, no managing, no chasing, just the breath, happening, just awareness, noticing. No effort is needed to be what you already are. The sun does not struggle to shine. The river does not force its flow. You too can live like this, free, unbound, centered in silence. Even in the chaos of the world, you can remain untouched, not by running from the world, but by remembering you are not its prisoner. You are the sky, not the storm. You are the flame, not the shadow it casts. You are the watcher, not what is watched. And when you remember this, there is no need to seek peace, because peace returns on its own. It was always here. You simply forgot. The moment you stop searching, you find it, like the moon behind the clouds, not gone, just hidden. And what are the clouds made of? Thought, fear, attachment. Let them drift. Do not chase them. Do not fight them. Do not name them. Just let them go. And in their absence, there is clarity. The Buddha did not promise a life without pain. He showed a path to live without suffering. The pain is real, but the suffering is optional, because suffering is born in clinging, in grasping at what cannot be held, in resisting what already is. But when you allow, when you accept, when you bow to what is, you rise above it, not by escaping, but by becoming the one who does not need to escape. This is the freedom no one can give you, and no one can take. Because it is not in the world, it is in your seeing of the world, in your breath, in your stillness, in your surrender. You have been taught to fight, to fix, to figure it out. But what if you simply stop, not as resignation, but as revelation? The mind believes stillness is passive, but stillness is the most radical act. It is the refusal to be dragged by the noise. It is the quiet revolution of peace in a world addicted to motion. And when you sit in that peace, even for a moment, you become a mirror. Others will feel it, not because you said the right words, but because your presence says everything. A calm person does not need to preach calmness. A quiet mind speaks louder than any philosophy. And this is your path now, not to become anything new, but to return to what is ancient, to what is true, to what was never touched by time, this breath, this awareness, this now. There is no enlightenment, to reach only delusion, to release. There is no final truth, only deeper silence. And when you rest in that silence, even for one sacred breath, you are home. Home is not a place. It is not found in a monastery or beneath a Bodhi tree. It is not given by a teacher. It does not wait in the next retreat, the next mantra, the next lifetime. Home is where the search ends, where you stop asking the world to reflect your worth, where you no longer chase the fire because you have realized you are the flame. There is nothing more sacred than this moment, nothing holier than presence, nothing more complete than the breath rising and falling, untouched. The more you look outside for peace, the more it hides from you, because it does not live in the external. It breathes in the space within you, the space you keep filling with noise. So empty yourself of opinions, of urgency, of identity. And in the emptying, you will find the fullness you were always chasing, a quiet so vast it holds the whole world. This is not spiritual theory. This is not belief. This is the direct experience of what is. Right now, beneath the concepts and definitions, you are awake. You are already free. Even if the mind protests, even if the emotions tremble, freedom is not the absence of thoughts. It is the absence of identification with them. Let the thoughts pass like clouds over still water. Let them speak. Let them fade. They are not yours. They are echoes, ancient winds blowing through your mind. You need not follow them. There is no end to thinking, but there is an end to suffering through it. And that end is stillness, a stillness that does not resist, a stillness that includes everything, a stillness that has room for both joy and sorrow because it is untouched by either. Have you ever watched fire consume wood? The wood does not resist. It does not argue. It simply becomes flame without complaint, without fear. Be like that. Let the fire of truth burn through what you are not. Let it turn false identities to ash. Let it cleanse every illusion until only the real remains. And the real cannot be named. It is too silent, too vast. It does not shout. It does not argue. It simply is. Feel it now, not with the mind, but with your being. That gentle sense of I am, without any attachment to what I am. Just presence, just this, unlabeled, uncomplicated, unbound. No past holding you down, no future pulling you forward. Just the raw miracle of now. Even pain is bearable here. Even sorrow finds space to breathe, because you are no longer trying to escape it. This is the secret no one tells you. You don't need to be fearless. You only need to stop running. Fear loses its grip when you turn toward it, not as enemy, but as teacher. Bow to your fear. Bow to your grief. Bow to your joy. They are all passing guests. Bow to them, and they will not stay long. Nothing can chain the one who does not resist, not even death, because death is not the end. It is a doorway into deeper stillness. The body dissolves. The thoughts fade. The memories pass like dust in wind, but awareness remains. It is not born. It does not die. It only witnesses, forever silent, forever still, forever free. And you are that awareness, not a part of it, but all of it. The space behind every experience, the witness behind every form. This is not something to believe. It is something to feel, to rest in, right now. Close your eyes if you wish. Feel the breath rise. Feel it fall. Nothing added, nothing taken away. There is no more searching, no more striving, no more trying to be better. You are here. You are aware. And that is enough. Let this moment be your teacher. Let silence be your guide. Let surrender be your path. And if a thought comes, bow to it. Smile. Let it pass. You are not trying to win over your mind. You are remembering that you were never the mind to begin with. And in that remembering there is peace. Peace without cause. Peace without end. Just stillness. Stillness is not something you enter. It is what remains when everything false falls away. It is not created. It is uncovered. Like a lake beneath layers of ice. The ice is your thoughts, your attachments, your roles, your fears. But the lake has always been there, waiting, still, silent, infinite. Do not try to break the ice. Do not fight the mind. Simply warm it with awareness, with presence, with breath, and the ice begins to melt on its own. This is the path of the Buddha. Not a war with the self, but a deep seeing that there is no self to fight. Not a path of becoming more, but of needing less. Less thought, less resistance, less identity, until you arrive at the simplest truth that you already are. Not in the way the ego wants to be. Not special, not praised, not protected, but present, alive, awake. And isn't that enough? Look at your hands again. They are not the hands of someone waiting to be whole. They are already whole, already breathing, already alive in this moment, without permission, without approval, without apology. This is enough. Let go of everything else. Let go of the idea that something is missing. Let go of the idea that awakening is far away. Let go of the belief that this moment needs to be different. It doesn't. You don't. You are not the noise. You are not the struggle. You are not the constant hunger to be more. You are the one watching all of that and wondering softly if it's time to stop. Yes, it's time. Stop running. Stop fixing. Stop pretending. And just sit here with everything, with nothing, with the breath, with the silence, and feel what remains when the effort ends. Stillness. Spacious. Sacred. So quiet it feels like love, not the kind that grasps, but the kind that sees. To see without needing to change. To listen without needing to respond. To feel without needing to escape. That is the deepest kind of love. And that love is not something you give. It is what you are beneath all the armor. You have spent so long trying to protect yourself. But from what? From pain. From being wrong. From being seen. Yet, here you are, seen, and still breathing. Nothing destroyed you. Only the idea of you felt threatened. And now that idea begins to fade, and something else takes its place. Not a better version of you, a quieter one, a more honest one, a self that no longer needs to be a self. Just presence, just being, just this. Like the wind through the trees, no ego, no name, just movement and stillness together. You can live like this, not in retreat from the world, but in harmony with it. Let the world be what it is. Let the people come and go. Let the thoughts rise and fall and remain. Remain grounded in the truth of the breath. Remain seated in the silence behind the eyes. Remain still, not because nothing moves, but because you no longer follow what moves. This is the unmoving mind. This is the unshaken heart. This is what the Buddha saw under the Bodhi tree, that the world does not need to change for peace to arise. Only one thing must fall away, the illusion of the I that clings to all things. Let it fall and watch how quietly the truth emerges. No trumpet, no revelation, just this, a breath, a moment, a life that no longer needs to be chased. You are not on the way. You are already here. The journey is not towards something. It is a journey into nothing, so that everything can finally be seen. And when nothing more is needed, when you are simply this, then even the concept of enlightenment dissolves, and only awareness remains. And in that awareness, there is no you left to awaken, no one to claim the stillness, no one to carry the peace, because the one who wanted all of it was the last illusion. Now there is only space, infinite, soft, spacious silence, not numb, not empty, but so full it has no edges. You are not aware of stillness. You are the stillness. You're not finding peace. Your peace recognizing itself. All that remains now is breath flowing in and breath flowing out, without ownership, without commentary. The trees do not explain themselves. They simply sway. The moon does not apologize for its phases. It simply shines, then fades, then returns. You too can live like that. No explanations, no apologies, just this quiet rhythm of being. And in that rhythm, there is truth deeper than any scripture, more intimate than any mantra, more liberating than any technique. The truth that you are the observer, not what is observed. That all things pass, but the one who sees them remains. And that seer needs no story, needs no identity, needs nothing at all. So let go now even of the path, even of the teachings, even of the idea of awakening. The raft has carried you across the river. You need not carry the raft on your back now. You are already on the other shore. You always were. You just didn't know it. The final letting go is not dramatic. It is quiet. It happens in the breath, in the stillness between thoughts, in the moment you no longer seek anything. Not because you have given up, but because you've seen through the need to seek. The sun was never hiding. It was only the clouds. Now the sky is clear. Now you can simply rest. Rest not in sleep, but in wakefulness without effort, stillness without trying, being without becoming. This is the end of suffering, not because pain disappears, but because the one who suffered it has vanished into silence. And in that silence there is love, not personal love, not romantic love, but the original love, the love that asks for nothing because it lacks for nothing. The love of presence, the love of breath, the love of the world exactly as it is, including its wounds, its flaws, its chaos, because all of it arises from the same silent source. And when you sit in that source, you stop needing life to be different. You stop needing yourself to be different. There is no more striving, no more fixing, no more defending, no more performing. Just this breath, just this moment, just this still wide awareness, watching everything, holding everything, and needing nothing in return. Even the idea of peace becomes unnecessary, because what remains is beyond peace, beyond calm, beyond stillness. It is the space where those things arise and fade without touching what you truly are. There is no name for this. It is not Buddhist. It is not Zen. It is not even spiritual. It simply is. And in that isness, you are free, truly free. Not because the world changed, not because your mind became perfect, but because you finally stopped searching for something other than what is. No effort, no grasping, no seeking, just resting in the sacred silence you forgot was always yours. And now you remember, not through thought, but through being, not by adding anything, but by letting everything fall away. There was never anything to become, only something to stop pretending to be. And in the stopping, a soft, radiant truth emerges. You were always this. Before the name, before the story, before the wanting, you were already whole. Like an old bell in a forgotten temple, silent for years, until someone touches it lightly, and it rings out clear, pure, endless. That sound was always in you, but the noise of becoming buried it. Now that noise has faded, and in its place, this echo of truth. No more explanations, no more defenses, no more masks. You have nothing to protect anymore, because the truth does not break. It does not hide. It does not fear. It simply waits patiently, quietly, for you to stop running. And now you have. Or rather, the one who was running has disappeared. The seeker is gone. And what remains is the silent seer. Not someone who sees, but seeing itself. Not someone who lives, but life itself. This body may still move. This voice may still speak. This mind may still whisper. But you remain behind it all. Still, vast, unshaken. This is the stillness that cannot be disturbed. This is the silence that cannot be broken. This is the truth that does not need to be spoken, but speaks through everything, every falling leaf, every exhale, every tear, every moment of presence. All of it whispers the same thing. You are already home. And when you hear it, truly hear it, you weep not from sadness, but from release. The burden of becoming falls away. The fear of not being enough dissolves. The longing to arrive disappears, because there is no you left to arrive, only arrival, only now. And in this now, the world becomes luminous again. Not because it changed, but because you stopped filtering it through a restless mind. The trees are green again. The wind is music again. The silence is sacred again. And this life, with all its imperfection, is no longer a problem to solve, but a mystery to live, a sacred rhythm, a song sung once, never repeated, never grasped. And you are not outside the song. You are the listening. You are the echo. You are the stillness in which the music appears and fades. There is no need to hold on, no need to understand. Just let it move through you. Let life sing itself through you without resistance, without control. And in doing so, you become the very thing you sought, not a better self, not an awakened being, but the silence behind both, the space that needs no name, the breath that needs no permission, the truth that needs no defense. You are that. You always were. Now you have remembered, and that remembrance is freedom. No more concepts, no more methods, no more chasing. Just a quiet return to what is, to what has always been, to what never left. This breath, this moment, this stillness, it holds everything. It asks for nothing. It is enough. Not because it satisfies the mind, but because it silences the question. Because in this stillness, the questioner vanishes. And without the questioner, there is no problem. There is no gap to bridge, no longing to fulfill, no illusion to chase. Only this, a moment so full, it needs no name. The breath, moving like a wave across the shore of your ribs. The heart beating not for survival, but for presence. The eyes no longer seeking, but simply seeing. This is the sacred ordinary, where the mundane becomes holy, where drinking water becomes prayer, where walking becomes meditation, where silence becomes the highest truth, because it is in this sacred ordinary that the deepest truths reveal themselves. You don't need a temple. You don't need incense or chants or robes. You only need presence, a single breath taken fully, a single tear released without resistance, a single step made without needing to arrive. And in that simplicity, you find the essence of all teachings. This is the Dharma, not carved into stone, but written in wind, not recited in sutras, but felt in silence. There is no technique greater than surrender, no posture holier than sitting as you are. You are already the temple. You are already the mountain. You are already the sacred fire, even when you forget. And when you do forget, even that is part of the path. Forget and return. Forget again and return again. The forgetting is not failure. The returning is not achievement. It is all part of the same rhythm. Inhale, exhale, clarity, confusion, silence, thought. No part is separate. No step is wrong. Even the pain has its place. Even the sorrow has its purpose. They are not obstacles. They are invitations. Invitations to soften, to release the grip, to meet life without armor. And when you do, you realize There was never anything to protect yourself from. The fear was a shadow. The suffering was a misunderstanding. The longing was a message pointing you back to this, always this. And so, you stopped trying to escape. You stopped trying to transcend. You stopped trying to become spiritual. Because the most spiritual act is to stop pretending you are anything other than life itself. Raw, unfiltered, alive. You don't need a label for it. You don't need to explain it. You don't even need to share it. Just breathe it. Just live it. Just be it. That is enough. More than enough. Because in that being, you become the mirror in which others may glimpse their own stillness, not through words, not through teachings, but through presence. Your presence, the one that no longer grasps, the one that no longer chases, the one that simply abides softly, deeply, quietly. This is not the end, but it is the dissolving of the need for an end. It is the flowering of peace without purpose, silence without escape, truth without definition, and so the final grasping falls away. Even the idea of awakening is let go. Even the desire for stillness is surrendered. Even the name you is no longer held. What remains? Listen, not with your ears, with your being. Listen to the stillness beneath. Even this silence, it says nothing. And yet, it says everything. It is the answer that comes before the question. It is the home you never truly left. Now rest there, not just for a moment, but as your natural state, not as an escape, but as a return. And in that return, there is no fanfare, no enlightenment ceremony, no final revelation. Only this, a breath, a silence, a stillness that needs nothing. And so, nothing more is needed, because you are no longer seeking, you are no longer reaching for what cannot be held. You are no longer mistaking movement for meaning. The river flows, but it does not try to escape itself. It moves because it is its nature to move, and when it rests, it does not apologize. You too are like the river meant to move and to rest, to feel and to release, to live and to let go. Let go now, not of life, but of the resistance to it. Let go of the war against your own being. You are not meant to be at odds with yourself. You are not a project to perfect. You are a mystery to witness. And the more you try to solve the mystery, the further you drift from it. So dissolve the solving and rest in the mystery itself. Feel the quiet beauty in not knowing, in not controlling, in not needing to define. Feel the space open inside your chest when you no longer try to contain what cannot be contained. You are the space, not the shape. You are the openness, not the boundaries. You are the awareness, not the experience. Even pain, when held in awareness, loses its sting, not because it stops hurting, but because it no longer owns you. It arises, it passes. It is honored, not resisted. It is seen, not feared. And that is enough. That is the healing the world never told you was possible. Not a healing of fixing, but a healing of seeing, of returning, of remembering. There is nothing more sacred than a human being who has remembered their stillness, not in theory, but in breath, in presence, in being. And when that remembering becomes your resting place, you no longer need to teach. You become the teaching. In how you walk, in how you listen, in how you sit with another's suffering without turning away, because you are no longer afraid of suffering, not your own, not anyone else's. You've seen that suffering is not an enemy. It is a call to presence, a bell that rings when we have forgotten who we are. And now you remember, not with words, not with thoughts, but with silence. This silence, not the absence of sound, but the presence of truth. It is not loud. It is not dramatic. It is like the falling of snow in an empty forest. It is like the closing of an eye at the end of a long day. It is like a whisper in the heart that says, "You've always been here." And that is the final truth. There is no path. There is no goal. There is only the waking up from the dream that you were ever lost. The Buddha didn't give you a destination. He gave you the mirror. And now you've looked into it long enough to see that the one you were searching for was the one who has always been watching, watching softly, watching silently, watching even now. So stop moving, stop naming, stop looking ahead, and just sit. Sit in the truth that does not change. Sit in the space that holds it all. Sit in the being that needs no becoming, and let that be your life. Let it flow through your conversations. Let it ripple into the chaos of others' minds. Let your stillness be the balm that heals without trying. You are not a savior. You are not a messenger. You are not even a teacher. You are presence. You are stillness. You are the soft space in which all things are allowed to be. And when you live like this, the world does not need to change, because your seeing has changed it. You no longer carry the weight of it. You no longer fear its storms. You no longer beg it to give you peace. You give it peace by not needing anything from it. You walk through the noise untouched. You breathe through the fear unshaken. You bow to all things as they are, because you are no longer trying to shape them into what they are not. This is the heart of surrender. This is the depth of wisdom. This is the truth behind letting go. And now you've let go. And in letting go, you did not fall. You became free. You did not vanish. You became vast. You did not die. You awakened. And the voice of the universe whispered, "Now, if nothing else is needed, then you've already arrived. This silence is the answer. You have always been here and will always be here. Now, rest. There is nothing more to seek. Only this. Only now. Only stillness."